All right, good morning, folks. Loan Coach Kelly here, coming to you today with North Coast Coffee Chats. And I've got my partner here with me today.
I'm David West, your solar best.
There you go. So as members of North Coast Networking Group, NCNG, our goal is to bring local entrepreneurs together, mastermind, and build business, make introductions, create long-lasting bonds and strong relationships to help grow business. And so within NCNG, we brought together the North Coast Coffee Chats. And so the purpose of this podcast is to bring our members together, get to know a little bit more about them, help promote and advertise their business, and bring them into the limelight. So today we have a super special guest, not only my personal insurance agent for life, but also one of my best friends on this planet and probably one of the coolest dudes that I've ever met. Nobody other than Keith Badiner.
Hey guys, I can't follow that.
Oh, sure you can. Where the mind goes,
the body follows.
See, I know you could follow up on that one. We know each other for 13
something like that
ish years now.
Right.
So
haven't run the other way yet.
No, never once, never even had a back pedal.
No, exactly right. Yeah. But speaking of which, remember Thirst Fridays tonight, so you might want to.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I like to get thirsty and drink our coffee this morning. So welcome to North Coast Coffee Chats.
Cheers,
Keith.
guys.
Glad to have you on.
Ooh, that's
this
strong.
episode is also brought to you by Max Lux. These are our podcast hosts and our video media gurus. So let's dive into Keith today. Dave,
let's dive in. So, Keith, I haven't known you for 13 years, but I've been able to get to know you over the last year, and it's been an incredible opportunity to get to know an amazing person. However, for those that don't know you as well, tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey. How did you come to San Diego? How did you find yourself in insurance, helping people protect themselves against the worst case scenarios?
Man, David, that's a good question. San Diego was kind of an interesting series of events. It was, started college, then I quit college, take a big motorcycle tour. Then it was completely wayward. Series of events brought me down to LA, and then somebody said, hey, come on down to San Diego. So I said, that sounds like a good thing. Fantastic move. I'm so glad I moved down here. As for insurance, I was originally in real estate just prior to this. And thank you, 2008, for destroying the entire market.
Oh, yeah.
But a good friend of mine who was my insurance agent at the time, my referral partner at the time that I passed business to, said, have you ever thought about going into insurance? I had some family that had been in insurance. It wasn't foreign to me. So I said, yeah, I think I can do that. Man, it's been a crazy ride, but well worth it. Because the one thing for me that made a big difference was that I enjoy getting to know people over time and building a relationship. And in many business structures, you kind of have a one moment and then you're gone. In my structure, I get to talk to people all the time throughout the course of their life. And that to me is fantastic. So I'm where I need to be.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, and you nailed it too. I mean, insurance is so different than so many other businesses, and I can only really relate maybe 2 or 3 different professions to insurance in terms of the long-lasting relationship management that you have of your friends/clients, which are insurance, financial advisors, CPA tax accountants, and your mortgage professionals, right? Like, so those people are not transactionally driven; they are relationship driven. And that kind of brings me on to the next question that we have for you, Keith, which is, given the environment that we've grown into over the last, what did you say? You started in 2009 or 2010, so 13, 14 years in the business. So much has changed in the landscape of technology, and so little personal interaction all the time.
Right.
What challenges do you see you're likely to face in the upcoming 3 to 5 years in the insurance business as technology continues to over expand and AI becomes so much more realistic in our world? How do you think that's going to impact you and your insurance business?
Yeah, Kelly, that's a great question. So, and that's probably one of the leading ones because it's very current. Chat GPT and all the other AIs that are coming on out there. But there's also automatic driving cars. That's going to automated. That's going to change some things too. So
like your insurance premiums.
Yeah. It can, right?
Are they going to go up or down?
Depends on how nice you are.
Are they a better driver than I am, or
No, but that's a great challenge right there. So AI is fantastic. I'm a big believer in all technology, and I think we should, as a society and world, move towards that. but it displaces things. And so the idea is to always be involved with it so it doesn't over displace. You can work around that. I think there's AI itself is going to be the biggest part of it. There's going to be early phases where it's going to be the augment. It'll help people describe or talk to people, clients to search for things, agents to be able to describe things. Over time, it's going to probably take over the smaller, simpler things. A renter's policy isn't all that complicated. I mean, it's nice to have someone to talk to, and if something comes up, it's really nice to know your agent to be able to call for a claim. But most of the time, people don't do that. They don't see it that way.
Yeah.
So that's going to be easy. It'll be far more complicated when it gets to a business standpoint. That's a long ways off. Why? Because everyone's very personable about their business. Their needs change. So even if you have the same needs today as somebody else, your needs might change. So it's the AI that I think is going to be the biggest one.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So insurance, kind of like mortgage, I don't think there's anything like super sexy about like what we do, right? But like, what are some of the things that you really like about being an insurance agent and selling insurance and offering insurance and providing that product to the consumer?
Yeah. Well, like everyone else, we all grew up thinking, hey, I can't wait to be an insurance agent. How
Totally,
exciting
yeah.
would that be?
Went to college just to get my insurance license.
But when you look back on, what I can do for people, you got to protect your entire life's effort from that 1 second accident, but you have to do it before. And so you really should talk with someone so they understand what it is you're trying to accomplish. Again, examples as renter's policy doesn't mean much. For a business policy, it would mean a whole lot more. There's plenty in between, life insurance, all these things sort of factor in. But there have been times in which I've made the biggest difference in someone's life because at the time of the claim, a lot of my clients will actually come back and say, Keith, thank you. Thank you. Because you asked me some important questions. You provided me some options. And I took one of them, and that's exactly what just saved my butt. We've done it for business, personal lines, all sorts of stuff. So taking care of people, that's what it should be.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's your MO.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think I admire so much about what you do, Keith, because to me it feels like, being a little bit younger, the insurance industry has gotten a bad rap in America over the last couple of decades, just because like this disconnect between, what someone is actually protected for. Medical insurance is a huge issue. And then it translates to life insurance, auto insurance. There's all these horror stories.
Right.
And, getting to know you and how you run your business, how you just really get to know people, the integrity that you have, and really just looking out for someone. I personally felt that, and it's been incredible to work with you. But how do you feel that you differentiate yourself? Like because knowing that there's this almost issue in the industry, like what do you forecast to see the future of you being Keith Farmers, making the impact that you want to make?
Yeah, well, all I can do is be me, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully the version of me works out for everyone else too. So first of all, the simple stuff is that not only do I handle insurance for personal, business, and life, but I also do financial services. And so there's a lot of connected things that really help people either protect or build their wealth. But the insurance side is obviously the bigger part. And so it's oftentimes people get put off like, oh my God, not only was I excited about becoming an insurance agent, but I can't wait to be a client. Oh my God. But it starts off with my motto, which you guys know, just ask, right? That's been a motto of mine long before I even entered the industry, but it was my feeling that if I was going to connect with people, I wanted them to be comfortable. And so just ask really just came to my mind. So for all of your insurance needs, just ask Keith Badiner. And I say that.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of clients who will call me up and say, hey Keith, can I use your just ask policy? I laugh. I go, so this is a hypothetical? Yes, let's call it hypothetical. But that's the moment when I've connected with somebody. Most of my clients will tell when I'm helping set them up about my grocery store test. And here's how that works. I've actually seen my clients literally throughout the world, but oftentimes at a grocery store. And they'll walk up to me and go, hi, Keith. Now, they've seen me, but I don't always know what they look like. Then after a little bit of a conversation, oh, yeah, hi. And then I think, well, why would they bother walking up to me? Oh, because they feel comfortable with me. And that's the first step. Have someone feel comfortable, and then help them by listening, and then doing what's in their best interest. Everything else will follow. I love it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you walk by my office and you just give me a look and then you put a glass in the air and that just answers all the questions that I'd had right there for you.
We answer each other's questions.
It was
quite
like,
a bit.
yeah, yes, I do need a drink. Yes, I will have one of those.
And Christian, who'll be joining us in a moment, is exactly in that same boat.
Yeah.
You've got this motto in the group, in NCNG. Everyone knows, and you said at the beginning, where the mind goes, the body follows.
Right.
A lot of times, though, I feel like we don't know exactly what that means. Where did that come from? What does that mean?
I really don't know, other than a long time ago, I was interested in psychology and how the mind thinks, and I really am a big believer in attitude. Right? Positive attitudes makes a big difference, and some people kind of almost are upset with me for such a positive attitude, but that's what I'm trying to say. Where the mind goes, the body follows. If you want success, believe in success, act that way, talk to people with that energy. Because when you do that, when you deliver something authentic and pleasurable, people are gravitated towards it. And the truth of the matter is then with collective groups, you end up accomplishing more, which is just like our networking group, right? Which is part of why I say it right there. Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah. I mean, that's a powerful comment and it resonates. And, every Thursday when we meet together as a group, and now we're at nearly 40 members,
Yeah.
When you start that slogan, everybody mimics it. And it just does really energize the whole room. And everybody kind of takes that mindset that, yeah, my mindset today is I'm going to have a great day because I'm here today and I'm surrounded by these 40 amazing people who are going to help me build my business, and they're not employees of mine. And this is just a great environment to just synergize and pump each other up. So Keith, obviously I've known you for many years, but there's a lot of audience members who haven't. So let's get a little bit personal into you.
All right.
Okay. So we talked insurance. We know that you offer a multitude of insurance, financial advice. But let's get into Keith Badiner.
Personally, let's throw the business out for a moment.
Your family life. Like I know your family well. I know all your kids and stuff, but what's your why? What is the why in Keith Badiner's world?
Kelly, God, that's a great question. It's been so deep that I actually published my own vision, mission, and strategy for people to see, but it was born from what is truly the most important to me. And family was the origination point of that, right? So my vision is to leave the world a better place than I found it. My mission is to build great relationships with people who see the same vision. My strategy is exactly what we're doing right now, slowing down and taking time with each other to get to know one another. When I apply that to the people I care about, which would certainly include my family, that is my why. Being able to be involved with my kids as they're growing up, I did absolutely everything I possibly could. The only time that I didn't attend one of their events was when the other also had an event. I just had to choose between them, right? Yeah. I always chose my favorite, just so you know. Right?
Yeah. And we won't say
which one is that?
Right? Oh, I can't tell.
In case you're watching this, you won't know. Dad will not commit.
But the long term is, it's, when you, this is such a great pleasure to get deep, like with you guys too, right? You get deep with someone and you realize what an amazing feeling this is. Now, I like to do that with everyone, but my family suffer with me because I guess I practice on them, if you want to think of it that way. But it's loving them, it's leaning into them, it's finding out what's truly important to them, right? And stepping out of the box a little bit and saying, okay, well, that's not comfortable for me, but it's what they want, and so go for it, right? That's my why.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's powerful to be motivated by those that you hold dearest in your life, and to leave the world a better place than we found it is. I wish everyone had that attitude. I think most people do want to do that, but
I think so too. Yeah.
They don't act on it as much as you do, which is incredible. But outside of just, helping out your personal life and then personal life insurance, what are your hobbies? Where do you find some joy just in the outdoors or going to breweries?
It
Fridays.
doesn't hurt that you know me, so and try not to add any more Keithisms, as Kelly would politely say.
I'm just waiting for one. It's
I'm
coming.
already giving you 2 or 3. So, no, I do backpack. I really enjoy backpacking, so I go with a particular group of guys, and I do have some other friends, so we go out periodically. Generally, the John Muir Trail is where we've been spending our time, although this year we're doing Catalina, which will be a lot of fun, tip to toe, right?
Some buffalo.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah. Hopefully not.
not
Hopefully
too
you don't
close.
see him. Yeah.
I like to surf. Haven't get out a while, but you got to get me out there again.
Working on it.
Yeah, you've heard about my Thirst Friday group, which actually everyone here knows about. The first Friday of every month. Cool guys who like beer. It's a public space. I don't care who shows up. But again, it's just having time and hanging out with people. I like to build things. I don't know why that's always been the case. Maybe my father, when he built his home, it just sort of motivated me. So I've built all sorts of stuff. I can pretty much build a house. Not that I would. Leave that to the contractors. But I enjoy doing it. Very creative, especially in comparison to what I do, because it's very cerebral what I do, very intangible. So when I build something, it's like, oh, there it is. I'm done. I love it. And I love the fact that what I love about building, is, especially with wood and wood materials, is that you can be wrong, but you can fix it. You can modify, you can bend it. There's lots of things you can do. And tying back to something else about spending time with people. So spending time with my son. When he was 12 years old, I said to him, hey, would you like to build a fort? And he goes, sure. And I didn't even really know where it was going. But I met a framing contractor of a really large place who just gave us a bunch of material. We ended up building a 90 square foot house, literally, except for plumbing. Insulation, doors, a refrigerator, beds, television, sliding glass door. And at age 12, 2 hours every week, Davis and I would build it little by little. And 2 years later, it was done. So
That was rad.
that's part of my fun.
Did you have to permit that with the city, or is that an ADU?
Sorry. It's funny. You sometimes want to ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Oh, yeah.
But I did end up looking it up after the fact. That I think it's 120 square feet and greater. You need a permit. So it's like, whew, okay.
Just missed.
Just missed it. And I actually just recently took down the fort. It was a promise to my neighbors who was like, wow, this is a little bigger than we hoped. And I said, look, when my son graduates high school, we'll take it down. So we did. He and I actually took it down together and filled up an entire bin, down to the wire. But that was part of the experience too. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I saw that fort. It was pretty rad.
It was.
You did a good job. All right, so I know what sets you apart from your competition, Keith, but we work with a lot of clients between our owners of properties that we manage, between my clients who we do mortgages for, and I unfortunately have to deal with a lot of insurance companies. Some of them are online, virtual. Some of them actually have people you get to talk to. Tell me a little bit about why Badiner Insurance is different than your competition.
Right. Great point, Kelly. So, look, I know it's all just insurance. It's just a piece of paper. And that's the biggest mistake anybody can make, because you do need to be able to choose what kind of coverage and what amounts are important to you, even in some things relatively simple, as even a renter's policy to some degree, right? And so that begins the first part. I want to be approachable. That's where the just ask comes from. That's how I train my staff. I want them to be approachable for people. As we sit and talk with them, the idea is to find out what's important and to periodically check with them. So we do annual reviews. And the idea is we reach out to clients. They're not really anxious to do this, but when they start to go, oh yeah, maybe I should check into that. Their lifestyle has changed. When's the last time you looked back in your life and said, nothing's changed, right? Over a year, a month, even a day, sometimes it changes, right? So that's the next part, is taking time with someone, hanging out with them, understanding what they need to do, and changing things in advance of a possible claim. But then when the claim comes, what happens? So one of my favorite stories that ties into this was a client of mine named Sarah. We had known each other for a while, and she was actually in an auto accident. And she called me on the side of the road. And I'm not emergency services, but I answer my phone whenever I can. I saw it was her. And I said, hey, Sarah, how's it going? She goes, Keith, I've just been in an accident. What do I do? It's real. It's coming back on me.
Yeah.
And I said, Sarah, where are you? She told me where she is. I said, do you feel safe? She said, yes. I said, I'm here with you, and I will stay with you until we fix everything. She's on the side of the road on the 805. So I explained to her, hey, get the other person's information. I start conferencing and claims while we're talking. We were in a maybe 10, 15-minute conversation with claims, and there was information, when's the next appointment, who's going to be calling her. She's on the side of the road. She's barely able to pull all this stuff together. Claims person hangs up. I said, Sarah, do you need anything else? And she goes, no, Keith, thank you so much. We hang up, and I hit send. I'd been composing all the details. Well, she received it on the side of the road. She wrote back, Thanks, Keith, you're the best. Now that's part of the relationship. What happened in the following time was even more interesting, but it's based on that great relationship. So she had sold her home, later on was buying another home, and she realized that she hadn't told her escrow and mortgage that who her insurance was. And it was like, hey, it's either now or you're not closing on time. And she was on her way to the airport. She calls me up, I answer the phone, hi Sarah, it's Keith. Thinking, oh my God, is this another claim, right? Luckily it wasn't. She goes, Keith, at last minute, I'm literally about to board a plane internationally. I'm not even going to be around to close what we need to close. I said, just give me the phone number I need. So she gave me the phone number. And I said, do you want to talk about this? So she goes, nope. I trust you, Keith. Do whatever is necessary. That was our entire conversation for her home insurance. When she landed, it was done, the whole thing. That's the relationship. I love that kind of connection. Now, when you ask what sets me apart, that's what sets me apart.
That's it right there.
Not to mention I have some good companies I work with, and they really do a great job too. Yeah.
That's powerful. Again, kind of going back to the idea that insurance is not something anyone ever really wants to deal with, right? And it usually comes about in times of need. That's when you least expect it is when you have to deal with insurance, right?
Yeah.
Car accident, like no one ever wants to get into one.
That's why they call them accidents. Otherwise, it'd be called on purposes.
On purposes. And
Keith
those
doesn't.
Right, there you go. See?
Gotcha.
Something, house damage, renter, and then, life insurance, which is something that, again, I think has this weird misunderstanding of it.
Yeah.
And you've been so amazing just explaining that to people. I guess how do you do that? I mean, how do you come to someone's need and I guess when you're giving advice to other people in business, how do you relay that kind of just that authenticity of helping someone in their most difficult time?
Yeah, it's like anything you do in life, you have to know your audience. Your audience could be whoever is watching this. I don't know who that is necessarily, but you have to understand your client and what's important to them. Yeah, so I find it helpful to explain to people some simple things, and this might be another Keithism for you. So one of the things I help people buy more than anything else is time, and that's a really important thing to understand, because at the time of the claim, sometimes the world is falling apart. I just told you about Sarah, right? Her world was falling apart at that moment. She couldn't really think it through. Now, nothing's being paid. But the point is that time is a very important factor. If your house burns to the ground, you go, fine, I'll get a check. Yeah, what really happens on day 1, 2, 10, year later? Some of the big fires that have occurred throughout California, and I know many of these homeowners, either friends or clients and whatnot, their homes took more than 2 years to rebuild.
Wow.
Where does the money come from where they're going to live temporarily? Who's going to be paying for those things? How can you adjust legitimate information or funds in a claim to be used for other purposes? Who's going to give you that kind of time to explain all those things? Time is the most important aspect. Insurance products help people with time, so they don't have to make bad decisions by making fast decisions. Time.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So obviously in the time that you've been an insurance agent, you've dealt with many clients who have had claims. Mm-hmm. Tell us a story about a severe claim situation that you had with a client.
Yeah, actually, so locally, we remember there were very large fires in the 2014 timeframe.
Yep.
Which is interesting because I'm part of Carlsbad CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. So at the time of this example, there was kind of a duality. Actually, Kelly, that was when we were in the office together, right? And the fires erupt, I turn around, I could see these fires, and I turned to my staff and said, go home now, right? Get everything set. So then I went home, I got myself set, I got activated for CERT, so I had to work all night, literally in the Emergency Operations Center. The next morning I didn't wake up, I was already working. I went back to the office because it was relatively safe to go back. And I had to figure out how am I going to reach out to every client in this region, right? There's quite a few people. There was 500,000 people on the move during that fire, so I had plenty of clients that needed my help. So I helped create a way to communicate by email, start to reach out by phone call. When I got to my staff, I said, call everyone. call anyone who's possibly affected by this. Let them know that we are there for them, to give them the information that they need. Eventually, after a couple of days, one of the clients did reach back to me, and a fire ember had landed in their community and landed next to the gas meter, caught the meter on fire, which shot gas straight up in the air, 2 floors up, entered the eaves, and started to burn into the house from that direction. The story later goes that the firefighters did end up breaking through the house and had to get through and take care of all its smoke damage. But the first time the clients had a chance to take a look at it, they gave me a call. Man, oh my God. I said, I'm on my way. And I drove on over there. And when I got there, they were distraught. They had no place to live at the moment because they was going to need some work, stuff like that. We could see there was damage all over the place. But they simply said, I'm here for you. Let me help you through that. Things worked out absolutely fine. Things got repaired, and that's exactly what insurance is supposed to do. Take care of you so that you can get back to what you were doing before. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that was a sketchy day. I mean, just sitting there in our office on Gateway and watching the smoke all of a sudden billow out of the canyon right behind us, and we're like, oh wow, this is getting close. Right. What are we doing here?
We're in trouble.
Let's get out of here. Like, I'm like, what do I take? Anything? My computer? Like, no, whatever. Just laptop out.
Just go.
Yeah, dude, that was a crazy day.
That was fascinating because, at least from the CERT perspective, I worked out of the Emergency Operations Center, and there was more than 350 trucks being tracked, and I was in charge of getting food for all the trucks would have to come by in the morning, just grab food and go. Wow. And so I obtained 400 burritos from various places. Sheridan was one of the big contributors of that. 5 o'clock in the morning, I have a picture of my car. The back is packed with burritos.
That's awesome.
It's got to be a cool picture.
It is cool. I'll share it with you guys.
Nice.
You manage a staff. You kind of mentioned it there.
Yeah.
That story. What's it like to grow a business and work and inspire people who you're working towards the same aims you are?
Yeah, well, it's not always seemingly the same aim, but I take my time when I'm hiring someone because I really want it to be a good fit. I want them to understand that I'm serious about what I do, and I like to have some fun along the way, but the idea is that I can't give up doing what's right by my clients. So I don't want someone just to fill a seat. I want someone who's paying attention, who's sharp, who can communicate well, who cares about the client, so understand structure is important to deliver a better product. So I feel very fortunate. I have 7 people on my team right now. Many of them are people in their 20s, but I think one of the things that we've connected on is that I want to give them an opportunity, whether it's with me forever or not, to always develop themselves, grow as they go. So I model in what I want them to do in the agency, which also includes, I call it 5% time. I said, do something I didn't tell you to do. Go explore, check it out, look around. But when you find something, questions or answers, feed it back in the system. But what happens is they've been given the freedom to learn on their own, and they have to sort of educate another, which elevates their ability to understand it. So, not everyone's going to stay with me forever. I'm not even going to stay with me forever. But if along the way I can help them become stronger people in the things they do throughout their life, then I feel like I've done a great job for them. And that's kind of what I train for. Yeah.
Nice. Obviously, being suite mates over the years, I've gotten to know a lot of your employees and watched you firsthand at work, training and mentoring these people. Yeah. And you've turned out some pretty amazing insurance agents.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, now they're your competition.
That's okay.
But
I love it.
That's
collaborators is what they are.
Yeah, that's part of life when you're an entrepreneur. Sometimes you train some of the best, and they become your competition out there.
Well, yeah, and to that point, another Keithism, if you will, but collaboration far outweighs competition. Now, it can happen between any group of people, but there are other agents that do literally the same thing that I do that are really right down the block, and we're best of friends. When something happens, we're there for each other, right? Collaboration. That's what I love about our network group, right? Collaboration, even though it's not necessarily the same industries, the same level of joy. So, yeah, if I lose an agent, a staff person that becomes an agent, they become an ally. I'm in a much better place.
Nice.
It's a great, abundant mindset.
Exactly, David. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
So one of the last things we usually ask, I'm not going to ask because I'm going to shift gears on this one here today. So Thirst Fridays, we've been doing this for how many years now?
10.
10?
Yeah.
10 years?
Right.
10 years, Thirst Friday. Favorite San Diego brewery?
Wow. You know what? I get asked oftentimes what my favorite beer is. And I usually default to the point about I'm not looking for the beer, I'm looking for the experience. And so when it comes to a brewery that I really like, it has a lot to do about experience.
Yeah.
There's a handful of them, but actually tonight we're going to Belching Beaver in Vista, and I like them.
Good spot.
Yeah, they not only create good brew, but the people there are great. You know, the story of sort of how they've developed is interesting. They have new locations. But a lot of times when I go in, I want to get to know the owner. Right? And I'm bringing 15, 20, 25 people with me, more or less. And so they're usually open to giving a tour. And again, what I'm hearing is their story. I want to know what they're all about. So unfortunately, there's been some places that have closed that I really enjoyed, but it came down to that same thing. And in this area, there's lots of breweries, which some of our hosts here certainly know plenty about.
Yeah.
You know, things have shifted, but there's still plenty out there. A lot of fun to be had.
All right. So tonight, the Beeve.
Yes.
On. Hop Highway 78. No, that was one of my favorites for a long time.
Yeah.
That's a good blend. All right. So Keith, to our audience, how do they find you? How do they contact Badiner Insurance? Anything that they can reach out to connect with you? Why don't you tell our audience how they do that?
Yeah. I mean, somewhat a simple Google lookup. Luckily, I've got enough presence where you can find me by Keith Badiner or the Badiner Insurance Agency. But if you go to keithbadiner.com, call my staff or myself at 760-203-4567. As easy as it can be there.
All right.
Reach out to me by email, farmers@keithbadiner.com, or just swing by, say hi.
And a quick overview of the insurance products and services. Just ramble them off.
So personal, home, auto, umbrella, commercial, which is your business owner's policies, workers' comp, business auto, life insurance, not just for people, but also for businesses. Very, very important there. I do some financial services, mostly your simple stuff that is long-term, 401k, IRAs, mutual funds, stuff like that. And otherwise, just drinking a lot of beer, I guess, is the only thing I should say.
Nice.
How much does that cost as a policy?
That's if you stop on by, I'll buy you a drink.
Hey, there it is. Free beer. You heard that tonight. The Beaver.
That's right.
On Keith.
We're getting some nods.
That's quite the premium right there.
All right, Keith. So, so glad to have you on the show today. I know you were kind of apprehensive. I had to twist your arm once or twice, and then a whiskey got involved, and then the twisting of the arm stopped, and then here you are.
Right.
So thank you, dude, for coming on the show with us today.
Both of you do a great job. Really appreciate it. Had a lot of fun with this. Looking forward to more.
Awesome. So to our audience, again, this is brought to you by North Coast Networking Group. Dave and I, two members, Keith and I, founding members of NCNG. We're a local business-minded entrepreneur referral group. And our goal is to bring entrepreneurs together, help them build their business, build their brand, build success in their industry, and connect them with like-minded individuals, connect into the community, and grow something special. And here at NCNG, we are almost 40 members deep, constantly looking to grow. So if you're an entrepreneur out there looking for some strategies to help grow your business here in 2023, come check us out. We meet every Thursday at 7 o'clock at Beach Plum Kitchen in Carlsbad from 7 to 8:30. Meet a bunch of like-minded individuals who are going to help you grow your business. So Loan Coach Kelly, checking you out for this episode. Dave, great work today. Cheers.
Thank you.
And thank you to
guys.
Max Lux for always hosting.
Appreciate it,
Good
guys.
job, fellas.
Thank you.